it's me. I know this is like, did not realize when I put this up, looks like I've got like horns or something, but this is my new backdrop. Trump is gone for a while, so we got these in courtesy of Christine at Mountain Witch. Christine, thank you so much, Christine. I have wings. I have wings. Anyways, no, it's pretty cool. Yeah, there you go, right off the top of the head, right? It's, you know, it's eyelashes. Give me a break. It's eyelashes. And you know what? This thing is like, it's wide. And I'm still like, my camera is, I can see, you know, I tried to make it so that, yeah, okay. Anyways, masking. We're going to use the Mooyam aloe vera facial mask. Moisturizing, brightening, and hydrating. You can't ask for much more than that. And aloe vera is soothing, so you know I'm expecting that. This is a 15-minute mask, so I'm gonna go put this on. We're gonna start on chapter 20. Something happened last week. I'm not even sure if I read chapter 18 or if I just skipped it. Sometimes it be like that. Anyways, we're gonna start off on chapter 20, and I'm gonna go mask up. So go get your mask, get your skincare, get your moisturizer, whatever. Get you a nice cup of tea, soda, whatever it is. You know, I'm kind of a big ice water drinker myself. Lots of ice water. And I'll be right back. Now I feel like I want to sit like I love it though. I love it. If you see it the way I see it, make a comment below and tell me what you think that looks like. You know, does it just look like eyes behind me? Or does it look like I don't know, like I have wings on my head? Comment below. Let me know. I'll be right back. I tried to move things around a little bit. Maybe that's better, maybe it's not. I don't know, but whoop, there it is. So, the mask is feeling good. And just in case anybody's ever wondered, yes, reading with all of this on can be a bit of a challenge. But you know what? I got somebody here to help me. That's right. Jesus, right here in this room, and he's right there with you, because you know he's everywhere. Okay, chapter 20. So where did we leave off? And Adam journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah, his wife, she is my sister. Really? We're doing this again? You didn't learn the first time? So, he's telling people she's my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. Like, why wouldn't he just tell him, yeah, she's your sister, but, you know, I find it a little, a lot of disregard for Sarah, because this is the second time that he has neglected to tell someone that he's married to his sister, and somebody comes in and gets her, right? Oh, but no, it's about him. We want to make sure he's safe. But, you know. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, Behold, thou art but a dead man. for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her, and he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? Said he not unto me, she is my sister? And she even herself said, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands I have done this. And God said to him in a dream, Yea, I know thou didst this in the integrity of thy heart, for I also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou restore her not, thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. Now, seriously, this whole thing could have been avoided if Abraham would have just said, yeah, she's my sister, but, you know, she's kind of my wife, too. Therefore, Abimelech rose early in the morning and called his servants and told all these things in their ears, and the men were sore afraid. And Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us? And what have I offended thee, that thou hast brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not be done. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Like, why not just be open, you know, from the get-go? Hello? And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. You know, but number one, where is your faith in God? You know, if you're supposed to go, you're supposed to go. It's not going to matter. Number one. Number two, do you not have faith that God will protect you? And aren't you supposed to protect Sarah? Seriously, does Abraham just... Abraham learns a lot of lessons that I think we can all learn from too, because he makes a lot of, my opinion, he's real worried about himself, okay? He's real worried about his own self. And yet indeed she is my sister and is the daughter of my father, but she is not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And it came to pass, when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is thy kindness, which thou shalt shew. This is thy kindness that thou shalt shew. I think it means show. Show me at every place whither we shall come, say of me, he is my brother. That's like, where is your faith? Where is your faith? And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants and gave them to Abraham and restored him Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before thee, dwell where it pleased thee. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes, unto all that are with thee, and with all other. Thus she was reproved. So, I'm not real clear on what that means, but I think what it means is, because Abraham wasn't, like, open from the get-go, you know, he was like, obviously you had to do what you had to do because your husband told you to, so you're completely free of, you know, you're innocent in this. You're completely free of any kind of, you know, guilt. You know, so Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bore children. For the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. So Abraham, this is the second time that you neglected to tell somebody that she was your wife, and then they took her, and then, you know, bad things happened to them because you weren't open to begin with. Look at that. I broke a nail, which, okay, it's a bad thing, but now I can put eyeshadow on with my finger, right? Alright, so chapter 21. This is kind of a long one, guys. And the Lord visited Sarah, as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken, for Sarah conceived, and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which God had spoken to him. Did you remember earlier God said, you know, she's going to have a son, and it's going to be, you know, so many months from now. And Abraham called unto the name his son that was born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because thy bondwoman, and all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And also of the son of the bondwoman I will make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread. Okay, so basically we're talking about the son of through a different woman. Okay, remember back when he was with the maidservant, because, you know, Sarah wanted him to have a child. Now she's like, you know, and the maidservant that ran away and then came back, and now Sarah's like, okay, now you can go away. I'll tell you what, this was a messed up family right here. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent her away. Yeah, Hagar was the woman. Yeah, okay. And the child, and sent her away, and she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. Beersheba. Anyways, so what was the point? Okay, it's there's got to be some better stories that cover like more of the detail in the rest of this here book. The water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs, and she went and sat down over against him in a good way, as it were a bow shot, for she said, let me not see the death of my child. And she sat over against him, and lifted up her voice and wept. Seriously? So you just, you didn't even send them somewhere, you just said, get out, and if you go die, no, but Abraham is not a nice guy, okay? And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called unto Hagar out of heaven, and said unto her, what aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad a drink. You know, now I always say, if you don't fall, how can God catch you? But Abraham is making sure that he doesn't fall. But he sure is making sure that the women around him are falling, you know? And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. What is this boy's name? And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. Okay, so he married someone from Egypt. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, spoke unto Abraham, saying, God is with thee in all that thou do. Now therefore swear unto me hereby God that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me, and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. So yeah, he was a little miffed at Abraham, I guess so, you know. Dude, you put me in really bad sights with the Lord, and, you know, you're not even sorry about it. You're just like, yeah, okay, well, I thought you might hurt me, so, you know, I didn't want to tell you that my, you know, 100-year-old wife was my wife, so, you know, I let you know she was my sister, but, you know, yeah. But you know what? Abimelech forgave him. He was reproved. He forgave him, which is, you know, a big thing. Okay, it's a big thing. And, you know, he forgave him, but he said, like, hey, don't be doing that again. Okay, do not do that again. And Abimelech said, I wot not who hath done this thing, neither dost thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it but today. And Abraham took the sheep and the oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. Okay, covenant is like, an agreement or a contract. And you basically do a sort of a sacrifice. The drawing of blood is what seals the contract. Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What mean these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, For these 7 ewe lambs shalt thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have dug this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because they swore both of them. Thus made a covenant at Beersheba, and Abimelech rose up, and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. And Abraham sojourned into the Philistines' land many days. So I'm thinking that means sojourn. He journeyed, or he lived there, or you know what? In the English language, we have a lot of words that have more than one meaning, so perhaps sojourned also has more than one meaning. What do you think of this? I'm a little bit, I thought Abraham was like, this really, this guy. And he's kind of letting me down right now. I'm like twice now. You didn't learn your lesson with the Pharaoh. When you told the Pharaoh that Sarah was your sister, but you neglected to tell him that it was your wife, because you were afraid that Pharaoh would slay you and to take your wife. Which means that, like, where is your trust or your faith in God that the Lord would protect you? Why? Why? And then, so Pharaoh, undergoes all these indignities, and he's like, why didn't you tell me? Why am I being plagued now? Because you didn't tell me that she was your wife, okay? So yeah, get out, okay? And then you turn around and you do the same thing over again. I gotta tell you, Abraham is not, and then Hagar, when Sarah says, hey, I don't want her son to be the heir. I want my son to be the heir. So you need to get rid of her and her son. And instead of making sure that you put them on a wagon bound for somewhere, you just shove them out in the desert to fend for themselves. I don't. Abraham is, but God, God is not only about the righteous. He's also, he wants the sinner to repent, and let's face it, we're all sinners, so there's that. But the Lord is so happy when someone repents. So maybe this is why Abraham is so prominent, because, it takes him a while to figure things out, and, it's our example that do stupid things, get stupid results, but in the end, God's going to come through for you, but if you did it to yourself, I'm not going to punish the people that did something because you neglected to give them all the information, you know. And poor Sarah, you know, she had to go with the Pharaoh. Now, you know the Pharaoh touched her. Okay, you know that happened. And, you know, she had to just do what she was told because Abraham was more worried about him getting killed than, you know, or in prison, whatever, than about her safety. You know, oh, you'll be safe. He's just going to, you know, take you, but you'll be safe. Lord have mercy. And then he turns around and does the same thing again because he's more worried about his own safety than he is about Sarah. What does this say? Oh, yes, we are descended from not, you know, and you're over 100 years old. You should know better by this time. Anyways, I'm sure we're going to learn more about this story in the future, but until then, I hope you wake up dancing, wake up dancing, ba-bum-bum, wake up dancing every single day. I'm sorry this was a long one. Bye-bye.